The date is Wednesday, August 11. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett has issued an impassioned appeal to unvaccinated tourism workers, including those in subsectors related to cruise shipping, to get vaccinated. His appeal comes against the background of efforts to boost vaccination levels locally and the heightened expectation of the return to cruise shipping to Jamaican ports in a matter of weeks. Mr. Bartlett said cruise lines remained eager to resume trips to Jamaica, but must abide by stipulated guidelines, which call for everyone in the sector to adhere to strict COVID-19 protocols while creating an environment that facilitates high levels of vaccinated workers. He also stressed that under the current guidelines, almost every cruise passenger and worker will be fully vaccinated. There have been reports of a cluster of COVID-19 cases, at least 50 over the last 2 weeks at the Hedonism 2 resort in Negril. Bartenders, entertainment and dining room staff and groundskeepers are among the staff members that have reportedly contracted the virus. Several test results are outstanding. There have also been results of guests isolating after returning positive results. Today, Jamaica has administered at least 369,960 doses of COVID vaccines. The island's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Jacqueline Pbcj, says at least 2 persons who have been vaccinated have contracted COVID-19. Speaking at a recent virtual press brief, she reassured the public that the COVID-19 vaccines are effective against the virus.
We recognize and we do know that many persons who have gotten the vaccine may get a mild illness. And right now, when we're in a surge and a lot of people are being vaccinated, we do expect that there are many people who will be vaccinated, especially after 1 dose, in a situation where we have a large number of cases that we may have persons that are vaccinated that will get COVID-19.
Dr. Pbcj says the 2 cases are being investigated.
We are looking at these cases to find out, first of all, is it 1 vaccine or 2 vaccine, and what is the period between the vaccination and the persons becoming infected, because this is important for us to note. But I just really want to caution members of the public to let them know that, yes, you can get a mild illness having received the vaccine, and you can transmit. So everybody needs to take precautions, but the vaccine remains quite effective against preventing severe illnesses and hospitalizations. And that's what we have to bear in mind.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the data for hospitalization regarding persons who are vaccinated versus unvaccinated is incomplete. But based on the data, the numbers favor those that get the jab.
The high percentage, and again, we'll await the assessment to determine the specific numbers, are those who are unvaccinated. And I'm inclined to support that view in light of the final analysis, because that is the experience globally, that it is the unvaccinated who are at greater risk. I did say, however, though, that we see a lot more young persons who are not vaccinated who are being affected and are being hospitalized. And I hope that is a message to the young, that they should also, or the younger population, 18 and over, that they should also get vaccinated.
Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment and Climate Change Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says his team is working with relative agencies and ministries, both locally and abroad, to mitigate climate change. Speaking at a recent JIS think tank, Minister Charles shared the outcome of a recent ministerial meeting in the United Kingdom.
The recent ministerial meeting fleshed out focal points to be addressed in the upcoming 26th UN Climate Change Conference of the Parties, COP26, which will be held in Glasgow, November 1 to 12, 2021. Portfolio Minister Pernell Charles says this smaller meeting gave island states an opportunity to place issues that affect the Caribbean on the table.
Issues that relate to our vulnerability, issues relating to climate finance, issues relating to loss and damage, adaptation, mitigation, and implementation of the Paris Agreement.
The Paris Agreement is a legally binding international treaty on climate change. It brings all 196 signatory nations into a common cause to undertake ambitious efforts to combat climate change and adapt to its effects. The key goal is keeping global temperature rise this century well below 2 degrees Celsius and to pursue efforts to limit the temperature increase even further to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Minister Charles says some of the key points of the Paris Agreement were discussed at the meeting.
And then the technical teams closed off the meeting on the third day, going into the more granular details of the policies and the programs that are needed to support our efforts to create a framework for all of the countries to be able to achieve our objectives, and to identify how we are going to work together across the globe to tackle the devastating impacts of climate change, which we are feeling more intensely and more frequently, particularly for us as small states that are vulnerable because of our geographical location as well as the small economies that we have.
He says Jamaica has been consistent in playing its role on the global stage in the development of strategies to mitigate against climate change. He furthers that a lot has been done locally as well.
And we have been consistently playing our role in terms of mitigation and adaptation. Mitigation being what we are doing in our own jurisdiction to minimize the impact that we make negatively in terms of emissions. So it has to do with introduction of renewables and having ambitious targets, which we have updated our NDC and raised our targets, our ambitious targets, to make sure we do what we can to reduce emissions. So that's mitigation. And adaptation, on the other hand, is building the capacity now to be able to have the infrastructure that will withstand the impacts of climate change.
In order to deflect the worst impacts of climate change, scientists have highlighted the need to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Minister Charles says human behavior continues to be a challenge.
Our choices are leading to these outcomes. And so we are saying to countries across the world that if we are going to have any intention of keeping global warming to well below 2 degrees, and as we have aimed for 1.5 degrees, then we must adapt, we must change, we must introduce the kind of renewable technology that relinquishes the hold that we have now in terms of fossil fuels. We must raise our ambitions. If we do not do so, look on the intergovernmental panel and the report that has been put out. It is a glaring alert to all countries, and Jamaica, for one, is taken it seriously. We will be ramping up our communication campaign. We will be ramping up our interaction across all stakeholder groups to make sure that everybody understands the importance, plays their part, and continues to be vocal, so that as we play our part as a small island developing state, we continue to lead in ensuring that other countries play their part. This is something which cannot be addressed in isolation.
The Paris Agreement was signed at COP21 in Paris on December 12, 2015, and entered into force on World Earth Day, November 4, 2016. The Paris Agreement requires all parties to put forward their best efforts through nationally determined contributions. This includes requirements that all parties report regularly on their emissions and on their implementation efforts. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Simone Absalom Gale.
The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information has informed the nation that $4.3 billion has been allocated to primary, all-age and junior high schools for the 2021-22 academic year. The money is being used, among other things, for maintenance projects, janitorial services and electronic tools for students. Simone Absalom Gale has the breakdown.
The Education Ministry in a bulletin explains that the funds are being disbursed in 4 tranches, with the first tranche paid over in June 2021. Each school will receive a maintenance grant in the amount of $150,000. janitorial grant in the amount of $250,000, and internet telephone grant in the amount of $60,000. The ministry says a sum of $600 million will be distributed among selected primary level institutions for critical repairs. It says staffing support for cooks in select schools will be supported in the amount of $300 million. $80 million has been budgeted for the Rural Transportation Program. According to the bulletin, a nutritional grant of $1.7 billion has been provided for the Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH students. Under the National Textbook Loan Scheme and Primary Textbook Program, educational resources valued at $800 million to include electronic tools will be made available to students. The ministry will also continue to provide apprenticeship to some primary level institutions in the overall amount of $76 million. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Simone Absalom Gale.
Adjusted curfew hours might affect your business at the tax office. We discuss this and get our usual market details in this edition of the Business Report. Effective today, Wednesday, August 11, business hours at tax offices across the island will be adjusted in response to the revised nightly curfew time of 7 p.m. All tax offices, as well as the stamp office, will open to the public from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday to facilitate end-of-day activities. All TAJ business offices, including the corporate office, will now close at 4:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday and at 4 p.m. on Fridays. In a release, the tax authority encouraged the use of alternate electronic options. Customers may log on to the TAJ tax portal at www.jamaicatax.gov.jm to pay business-related taxes and fees, property tax, certificate of fitness fee, driver's license renewal and traffic tickets, using a valid credit card or other payment products with credit card features such as your Visa debit card or prepaid MasterCard. TAJ says it will continue to enforce its health and safety measures in keeping with public health and safety guidelines as the government continues in its efforts to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Persons are advised to cooperate with the instructions of security personnel and staff at tax offices to form an orderly line and maintain the recommended physical distance of at least 6 feet. Effective August 11 through to 31, curfew hours across the island are from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Mondays to Fridays, 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. on Saturdays, and 2 p.m. to 5 a.m. on Sundays. In Tuesday's trading session, the JSE Combined Index advanced by 131 points to close at over 420,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 91 stocks, of which 37 advanced, 40 declined, and 14 traded firm. The junior market index declined by 0.53 points to close at over 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for 1834 Investments Limited, Berger Paints Jamaica Limited, and Cargo Handlers Limited. Stocks declined for Barita Investments Limited, Blue Par Group Limited, and Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited. Trading firm were Access Financial Services Limited, AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, and Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited. Future Energy Source Company Limited ordinary shares was the volume leader with over 3.6 million units, followed by Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited with over 2.3 million units, and Derrimon Trading Company Limited with over 1.7 million units. In foreign exchange trading for Tuesday, August 10, the US dollar sold for an average $155.65. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $124.37. The pound sterling traded for $214.55, and the euro sold for an average $185.18. Oil fell below $70 a barrel on Wednesday as the United States urged OPEC and its oil-producing partners to boost output, saying current production was not enough and could threaten the global economic recovery. Brent crude futures slid 75 cents to $69.88 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude was down 81 cents to $67.48 a barrel. Did you know that poor dental health can cut your life expectancy? There is no good overall health without dental health. Tooth decay or cavities are a common problem and are caused by a variety of reasons. In today's Living Healthy, Dr. Heather Dawn Lawson-Myers of Ligony Family Dental looks at how we can protect ourselves from cavities.
Today, I come to you from the southeast, St. Thomas, more specifically, Surge Island Dairies. And we're going to be talking about protection. Hi, everybody. This is Tiffany Graham. She's the warehouse manager at Surge Island Dairies here in St. Thomas, Jamaica. I just took a look at that automated system that you have in place to package long life milk. Can you tell me a little bit about it? It's awesome.
Well, we're very proud of our system here. We have a UHT process where when the milk comes in, it goes through a pasteurization process where it kills all the harmful bacteria, and then it goes to the filling process where the product does not come into contact with any open surface. So it is completely enclosed to make sure all the seals are intact, and therefore it is very good for anyone who has it.
You know something? You and I have something in common.
Really?
Yes, because in the dental office, we prepare teeth and protect them from tooth decay with dental sealants that seal out bacteria. I used to think that after you got to a certain age, you would automatically lose your teeth. But the truth is, you can go to your grave at 102 with all your teeth in place. Proper dental checkups, brushing and flossing efficiently, and the application of dental sealants on the biting surfaces of the back teeth can totally eliminate tooth decay. So you can create a long life product, and so can I.
That's right.
Sealing out bacteria is crucial to good health, whether it be for long life milk or teeth. Protection is the key. Listen, check us out next time on FYI. Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. See you next time on HD's Jazz.
In regional news, employers in Trinidad and Tobago can mandate that their staff take the COVID-19 vaccine. This is according to UWI lecturer and labor law consultant Dr. Jamil Broom, who said employers are responsible for the health and safety of all their employees. Kimberly D'Souza tells us more.
Under Section 6 of the Occupational Safety and Health Act, the employer is responsible for the health and safety of all employees and must do what is right to protect them. As a result, labor law consultant Dr. Jamil Broom said employers may obligate employees to take the COVID-19 vaccine.
I think it's also important to ensure that we put it out there that an employer just can't do whatever they deal with the situation in a high-handed manner. It has to be dealt with fairly. You must treat the employees with respect and not just say, if all they don't get vaccinated, bust out. Right? This is what we're doing. We want to do this because give an explanation.
He said vaccination for employees should not be legislated as there are other options such as vaccination passports and regular PCR testing.
With the PCR test, there are some people who say that Section 12 and Section 37 of the Occupational Safety and Health Act can possibly ban an employer from requesting a negative PCR test every week or every 2 weeks. But that is left for interpretation, and that's something that the court may have to deal with later on.
Dr. Broom said there will be a lot of matters before the industrial court if vaccination is mandated, as the trade unions are already involved in protecting their members.
So unions need to let employees know the other side of this thing, the detriment, the potential detriment that refusing this and fighting it and challenging it and going down to court. Because I know a lot of employees are going to say, okay, if you want to sue me, go ahead. I will deal with that 4 years down the road, we'll deal with it.
He said government as the largest employer can set the tone by mandating that certain sectors such as health and protective services are inoculated. Kimberly D'Souza, TTT News.
In sports, 110-meter hurdles Olympics gold medalist Hansle Parchment toured sections of his native St. Thomas on Monday. Parchment won the event in a time of 13.04 ahead of favorite Grant Holloway ahead of the United States. Rowan Levy, who had won the event at the national trials ahead of the Olympics, grabbed third place for the bronze.
We know everybody likes a winner, and when you're winning, the support is huge. Everybody come on board, and you know that is all fun and thing, but we want to encourage the support for those who are not at the top, to motivate them as well. You know, we have talent all around. We have a lot of other athletes who maybe if we give them just a little bit more support, they would be one of the biggest as well. So I want us to push and keep motivating and supporting everyone, not just our athletes, but you know, whatever field that you're taking on, to just push forward and be the greatest as it can be. And we'll big up Mark the skill every time.
Parchment was celebrated for his exploits in a tour where scores of residents came out to show their appreciation.
So big up Hansle, coming from K and big up Hansle, you don't know. Hansle are the boss, a boss, St. Thomas, Port Maran, and we run the ground.
Big up Hansle Parchment, we love them, these are the cash members. Big up, proud that you have to get the gold medal for Jamaica. Feel proud, man.
Olympian Chris Taylor is back home in Jamaica. Taylor, a former Calabar High School standout, is the first Jamaican male to make an Olympic 400-meter final in 17 years. He finished 6th in a personal best time of 44.79 seconds. Carol Francis has more on this rising athletic star in this report.
Christopher Taylor's natural athletic ability was nurtured while a student at the Calabar High School in Kingston. A track celebrity at the Boys' Championships during his high school athletics career, Christopher Taylor solidified his dominance as a 400-meter runner in 2018, clocking 44.88 seconds to become Jamaica's national junior 400-meter record holder. He then set his eyes on making Jamaica's 2020 Olympic team. He was successful in his bid to represent Jamaica at the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo and competed with the fastest men in the world over 400 meters.
So I just went there, kept the focus, keep on training hard, say I'm going to the Olympic final, no matter what it takes, I'm going to the Olympic final. On the first day of competition, I was really nervous. I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat. But my coach said, listen, this is the first round, you're going to be nervous, but once you get it out of the way, you're going to start coming around pretty good. The first round, coach said just do enough to settle for third place, just to make it another round. In the semi-final, you're going to run for second place no matter what. Just go to the final, and you go to the final, then you run for a personal best, and that's what I did. And then after that, everything just went away, just went away.
So the plan worked?
Yeah.
You followed the plan, and it worked?
Yep.
That's great, that's great. Well, you had the entire Jamaica cheering for you, right? And that is what is so wonderful. When you go to the Olympics as an athlete, it's about you, but it's also about your country. Yeah. And while you're out there and you're running and you're performing, you're not alone. An entire country is with you. The entire Jamaican population of a little under 3 million. And the Jamaican diaspora, which is more than 3 million, you know, they're there cheering for you. You're never alone, and I want you to always remember that, right? Yeah. And I just want to say to Jamaicans that we always have to give our athletes that support. And when they do great and when they medal and when they're on the podium, It's a great feeling. And if they're not on the podium, you also have to give them the support because they've done their best. And they're only human. Right? But we're really happy for you. And you're the 6th fastest, right?
Yeah.
In the world. And that is important. Right? And I thank you for making yourself available for us to greet you.
What you have done, I mean, billions in the world cannot do. So you're amongst the greats, my brother. You know, and also what is very important, Chris, and I want Jamaicans to understand that, is that you're the first Jamaican male in 17 years to be in an Olympic 400-meter final. So big up yourself, my brother. You know, you are a young superstar. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the World Championships. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Paris. You know, so just continue to rise, my brother. All right, historic achievement, first in 17 years.
Athletes need a good supply of oxygen while competing. Those who are asthmatic could, as a result, not be at their peak during competition. Christopher Taylor does not make his diagnosis of asthma affect his performance. Every time he steps on the track, he gives 100%, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds despite being asthmatic. His journey to becoming one of the most accomplished sprinters in the world continues. Intense training woven with natural ability will make dreams come true for some and set records for others.
I don't know what the future holds, but I can say for the next few years I'll be training really hard because, as you know, I'm coming off injury, and I made my first Olympics. That's a sign to show that I'm working. I'm going to keep on working for better results in the upcoming years.
A diamond is a chunk of coal made good under pressure. Christopher Taylor is viewed as a diamond, and his athletic luster is expected to be brilliant in the future. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Carol Francis.
And as more of Jamaica's athletes return to the island following the just concluded Tokyo Olympics, let's not forget the support staff members who worked tirelessly behind the scenes. Sports Minister Olivia Grange was at the Norman Manley International Airport on Tuesday to receive members of the Jamaica Olympic Association.
I felt it was important to make every effort that every single athlete and official that arrived would be greeted. That I had to find the time to come and to say welcome back home and to just show you the love that we have for you. So I really want to thank you so much for representing Jamaica so well, and to say specifically to the President that going forward we just have to be tighter and work more closely. Any hiccups, any experiences that you had that could have been avoided, we just work on it. Because together we are stronger.
The administrative oversight body was instrumental in Jamaica's successful outing at the Tokyo Games.
I think people do not understand the amount of work, the commitment, the dedication, the risks that face athletes. You risked your health and your life to be in Tokyo. And for that, you must be commended. And you risked it in the interest of a nation that is eternally grateful to you, not only for your performances, but for your dogged attempt to ensure that brand Jamaica remains alive and well. So I want to congratulate the athletes on behalf of the Jamaica Olympic Association and personally, because if you did not exist, we would not exist. I want to really thank also the coaches. Dedication, commitment, sustained application, a sense of patriotism that goes beyond duty, that goes beyond self-sacrifice. So, Maurice, please convey my congratulations and commendation to your coaches. And I really want to thank the J3s for putting the team together. It's not easy, particularly in environments hostile to health and even hostile to economics. You have put together a team that did us very proud.
And with that, we are out of here. Join us tomorrow, same time and place, as we do it all over again. You've just watched the news on PBCJ, the People's Station.